Okay, so welcome back to Football Matters. This is Week 12 review/preview of the Arkansas Razorbacks. So last week was a loss. However, a lot of things to hang our hat on in that loss. I know people are like, oh, there's no such thing as a moral victory. Well, in this situation, there kind of was. We faced the LSU Tigers, who have now won the SEC West. And they just defeated Alabama a week before that. So the Brian Kelly thing is working down there currently. And it's working great in the first year. Good job, LSU, on what you've done this year. But there is some things that Arkansas can compliment themselves on in this game, and that is our defense. Our defense has only allowed 13 points in the last 6 quarters of play, which when you go against the LSU Tigers with Jaden Daniels and Butte and all of those receivers and the running backs that they have, giving up 13 points is a pretty good day. And I will say, I truly believe had KJ Jefferson played in this game, Arkansas Razorbacks would have won, and would have won by more than 2 touchdowns, because our offense never got going. Never, ever, ever got going. I'm saying a healthy KJ, not the banged-up KJ that played against Liberty. A healthy KJ would have scored minimum, I'm going to say, 14 points for this team that was not on the scoreboard at the end of last week's game. But defense gets a 4.5-star rating from me, and I don't know why I get to give a rating system, but I do. 4.5 stars out of 5. They did great. They shut down Jaden Daniels' running game. They just really dominated the line and kept everything concise. McAdoo, the freshman wide receiver who's playing cornerback, is doing phenomenal. I don't know if he might not stay there next year or if he goes back to wide receiver. Either way, he's a great athlete. He's doing great. Hudson Clark moving to safety. Great move. Great move, Hudson Clark. You're doing great as a safety. Much better than a corner. But he's good enough that he can cover a tight end. He can cover a running back coming out of the backfield to catch a pass. He's good enough to do that. And he's good enough to cover a receiver here and there. He's not a lockdown corner. There's not many of those in the league anyway. But he's doing great as a safety. Like I was saying, Malik Hornsby, it didn't work. It didn't really work against Mississippi State. It didn't really work against LSU. That's why we saw Cade Fortin come in, and he had a couple good passes. He had that touchdown to Landers, good play. He just never really got the momentum going for the team like KJ does. KJ is a starter. There's a reason why he's the starting quarterback. But we rested him. We also rested Dalton Wagner, our right tackle. And so when you see all these stats of sacks coming in, a lot of them came off the new tackle, Crawford, who is going to be good. He's great. He's a great player. He just doesn't have the experience, in-game experience that Dalton Wagner has. Now, I'm not saying Dalton Wagner would have shut Perkins' pass rush down the entire game, but he would have had a much better shot than Crawford, who is pretty new to the playing in the SEC. All that said, Arkansas fans should be happy with what they saw, even though we lost. No, it sounds stupid, but it's true. My prediction for the game was 45-23 Arkansas. I did not expect Arkansas's offense to be struggling the way they did, and I did not expect Arkansas's defense to be as good as they were. So all that being said, the actual score was 13-10. And I still do believe, had KJ played, we would have won that game. However, KJ's hurt. We have to keep thinking about the future. Like Sam Pittman said, do you put him in there hurt and just start the process over again against Ole Miss? Or do you let him rest, try to win with Malik, and then put KJ back in feeling better? And if you watch last week's video, I kind of predicted that KJ wouldn't play. And that's when I predicted that LSU would win, when I knew KJ wasn't going to play. All that being said, KJ, hope you're back this week. Arkansas's defense did great. Good job last week. That was last week's review. Now I'm on to the preview. The Ole Miss Rebels are coming to Fayetteville. this is, I don't want to say a revenge game. We lost 52-51 last year, and with a failed 2-point conversion because KJ was looking for Traylon Burks, his go-to guy. Should have looked in the corner of the field where Trey Knox was. But anyway, he was looking for KJ, failed 2-point conversion. We lost 52-51. It was a great game. We just didn't win it. So, if we can win this week, if we win, that's going to put Sam Pittman 2-1 against Lane Kiffin and 2-1 against Mike Leach. Because of the losses we've had this season, there's people calling up radio stations saying Sam Pittman is a great offensive line coach, but he's not a good head coach. Well, he's beaten some pretty good head coaches. Okay, I don't know of a single team that could win in the SEC with the amount of injuries that we've had in our defensive backfield. I mean, like I said, we're using wide receivers as cornerbacks right now. We have so many injuries. Nobody would have won more than what we've won. Now, my original prediction, when I made my prediction video, was 52-49 Arkansas. My current prediction, this is with KJ and Dalton Wagner playing. My current prediction, 31-20 Razorbacks. 31-20 Razorbacks this week in Fayetteville. It's going to be the last home game of the season, and KJ should be healthy. Dalton Wagner should be healthy. I see a very big game for Rocket. He has had a few games in the past couple weeks and people are like, where's Rocket at? Who's that guy wearing his jersey out there? He just hasn't really blasted off like Rocket does. I think he does in this game. I think he pulls it all out. I think our offensive line is going to just block almost everybody. Ole Miss's defense is not as good as LSU's. I mean, that's obvious. But however, Jackson Dart is deceptively fast. You don't think of him as a runner usually, but the guy's got some legs. He can make plays, and they've got some running backs that break tackles. They're not going down on the first hit. They're going to break tackles. They're going to carry some people. I foresee Hudson Clark spying the running back the whole game. Wherever that running back goes, we're going to see Hudson Clark cut him off. He might not make the tackle, but he'll make the stop and wait for the other guy to make the tackle coming in behind him. They have very good running backs. Jackson Dart is a pretty good quarterback. They don't have the receivers that they've always had. I'm not saying they won't burn us once or twice, but they don't have the typical Ole Miss wide receivers. KJ should be back. Dalton Wagner's going to be back. Our defense is looking healthier and better every week. And my hat goes off to Coach Barry Odom. I might be a little biased and partial here. I think Barry Odom might be the best defensive coordinator in the SEC. And explains why he's one of the highest paid defensive coordinators. And I'm predicting Arkansas wins this by a minimum of 11 points. Rocket, I think, is going to have over 100 yards. I think Landers might have over 100 yards receiving. I think Knox will have a touchdown, maybe 2. And I think KJ plays like a man on fire this week. I think it probably upset him last week, watching the struggles that the quarterbacks were going through, knowing that he couldn't be out there helping his team. KJ's a winner. KJ wants the ball, and I think he's going to show everybody that this week. And I think we become bowl eligible after this week, and I think we'll go into the Missouri game with a 6-5 record. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. And at the end of the day, it's a game. It's only a game.